Hello and welcome to Tête à Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest today is Jan Egeland. He's a veteran of humanitarian affairs. He served in senior positions at the United Nations. He's now head of the NGO Norwegian Refugee Council. He joins us from Amman in Jordan, where he just returned from a rare visit into the Gaza Strip. Mr. Egeland, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You last went to Gaza in February. Can you tell us what the situation is now compared to a few months ago?
It's much worse now than it was even in February. At that point, there was an intensive bombardment in the north of and middle area of Gaza, and people were herded down from their homes to Rafah in the south. 1 million people there, and it was supposed to be safe there. Then also Rafah was invaded and destroyed, so people are now back to the middle area and to the north again. And you are now seeing images of me and my colleagues visiting families in Khan Yunis, in the center area, which is completely destroyed. Here's a family that was trying to survive in their old apartment in the 4th floor of a destroyed building. And here we're meeting the council in one of the camps in the middle area, where there are hundreds of thousands of people crammed together in a tiny stretch of land. This humanitarian zone is only 18–19% of all of Gaza, and there are 32,000 people per square kilometer, whilst others are outside of the zone, like up here in Gaza City, where we're visiting our work and also visiting the Shifa hospital, as you can see, totally destroyed. I mean, it's beyond belief, the destruction of Gaza.
You've been to many tough places. How does Gaza compare?
It's among the worst. I don't think I can recall in my 40 years as a humanitarian worker. I started on the age of as a 19-year-old volunteer. I cannot recall any place where so many people have been crammed together in such a small area and sustaining such a continuous bombardment with no escape and without really any aid. It's strangulation, it's starvation on top of systematic destruction of civilian life.
Israel, of course, is saying that it is not targeting civilians, that it is targeting Hamas. However, according to the UN, 70% of the deaths are women and children. Can you talk to us about what you saw in this regard? And also, we see a lot of urban destruction images. Can you tell us about what you saw? Because I think your NGO has a good assessment of such damages.
Yeah, I mean, we never left Gaza. We are Norwegian Refugee Council, NRC. We're there with more than 68 workers working from the south in the middle area and up to Gaza City. When Israel says, as you referred to, that they are targeting only Hamas fighters and military targets, it's not true. And I think media organizations should stop quoting a party to a very dirty war. Hamas is not telling the truth. Hezbollah are not telling the truth. Islamic Jihad is not telling the truth, nor is Israel. This is not self-defense. This is no targeting of fighters in a war on terror. This is the destruction of entire city, with 70%, as correctly the UN just verify, of the dead being women and children. And we can all agree that all of them are totally innocent. Many of the men are too, by the way. So it's casualties beyond belief. And those countries that have supported Israel, the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, with arms to all of this, but also France, up until now recently, have become complicit in what is clearly grave violations of humanitarian law.
Right. What about the urban landscape? I mean, some people have brought comparisons to cities destroyed during World War II. I mean, what you saw with your own eyes, what images did it conjure?
Oh, I mean, yeah, indeed. I mean, I felt it was like some movie out of Stalingrad or Dresden or whatever. I mean, 70% of all civilian housing is destroyed or damaged. 400,000 housing units. I know because my organization is responsible for the shelter organizations, and we are supposed to give, emergency housing to those who lose everything, like this boy who's carrying things down from his destroyed house. So it's indiscriminate warfare with tanks and 2,000-pound bombs in an urban area filled with women and children. That's how you have to describe it. Of course, Hamas is also having fighters that are fighting from the civilian areas, and that's a war crime. You cannot take your fight into civilian areas and fight from civilian places. But that doesn't justify war crimes on the other side. Israel should be better than this, and those who support Israel have to force them to stop it.
Do you think Israel is planning to really empty out the north of Gaza? There are rumors that this is indeed what's being done on the ground to push people out, not allow aid in, and maybe push people towards the south. Is this what you're witnessing?
Yes, that's what we're witnessing. So, and it's not even rumors anymore. The Israeli Defense Forces has in the last few days made it very clear that they are starving out the population of North Gaza. They are forcing people out because they are not letting aid in, and then they are bombarding place after place, camp after camp for refugees and for the other local population. And then they are saying, you will not be allowed to return. And the settler mafias, these organized crime groups that call themselves settlers in the West Bank and elsewhere, are celebrating and preparing themselves for entering and colonizing northern Gaza. Whether that will be allowed, I don't know. But this is indeed forcible relocation of people, which is a crime under international law.
Israel has also passed legislation to ban UNRWA, the United Nations agency tending to Palestinian refugees in Gaza, well, actually also in Lebanon. Is this the death knell for such an organization? And what does it mean for the daily lives of people in Gaza?
Well, so far it is for Gaza and the West Bank that the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, have banned all UNRWA activities after January, which would be a death sentence for Gazan children. UNRWA is doing education, health, and other vital services through a General Assembly resolution, which is on level with the General Assembly resolution preceding that, which created the State of Israel. First, the State of Israel was created, and then for those who were displaced in 1948, when Israel was created, namely the Palestinians, they got UNRWA. So now the first product of the first resolution is killing the product of the other resolution. France have to fight this. Security Council member, so does all other members of the United Nations, cannot allow such an important humanitarian organization to be banned by a party to an armed conflict.
Right. Something happened across the Atlantic in recent days. It's the return of Donald Trump. He actually cut U.S. funding to UNRWA, but more broadly, what do you think his return to the White House will mean for Gaza and for the Palestinians?
I don't know, really. I noticed with concern that the extremists in Israel are celebrating those who sit in the cabinet and those who are settlers and illegally colonizing the West Bank. However, they may get surprised. I mean, if Donald Trump wants to put America first, he may actually change the current policy, which has been to set Israel first. Israel really decided American policies so far, and even the lack of aid coming in and lack of aid being able to be distributed in this war zone has not stopped American transfers of arms. So perhaps Trump administration will see how costly this is, costly it is for the United States, for Germany, for UK, for France and others, and will reverse policies and force the Netanyahu government, as the Arabs should force the Palestinian factions to lay down arms and to negotiate a peaceful coexistence.
Jan Egeland, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on France 24 from Amman in Jordan, just back from a rare trip into the Gaza Strip. And thank you all for watching this show.